Hey guys, so I didn't plan on making this video. This was not part of the plan. This thing, this Chibson, it really ruffled some feathers. The video that I made about this guitar and the comments that I made about it. And it's not just about the video that I released last week, which got, quite a bit of feedback. It's about the general problem and this strange, bizarre phenomenon that we have in the guitar community right now of people who are gatekeeping the lower end of the guitar market. And I just cannot wrap my head around these apologists. And this whole week, I read every comment that's left on my videos. And this whole week, some of the things that people have said on that video, it spurred me on to make this video right now. There's no script right now, because there's some things people have said that are just, I can't even describe the level of disconnect that has to exist, the level of denial and copium that these people are ingesting on a daily basis. And it's not just on my video, it's in Facebook groups, which that's a whole nother video. Guitar Facebook groups are just cancer, period. I highly suggest you stay out of them unless they're smaller and you know the people running it or something. But just the way that people talk about these guitars are just mind-blowing to me. And I felt that I needed to make a video to address some of those things. So let's cut to the chase, okay? Behind the camera, I have blown up really huge because I can't see very well. There's a screen back there. And it's got a bunch of comments that people have made on my last video. And I'm not making this video to respond and defend myself, because I don't think I need to defend myself. This isn't about me. This is about the guitar market and just lies and universal truths also, okay? So, for example, the title of the video was Chibsons Are Shit. Okay? And I still think they are. Okay? Some of the comments people were making were like, so are Gibsons. So that verbatim is one of the comments. You're a fanboy, and Gibson has been known to make mistakes from time to time, so they're fanboy. I find arguments like that to just be, it works more against them than it does for them. Gibson makes mistakes sometimes. Honestly, I would say Gibson makes as many mistakes that lead to bad instruments as Chibson makes good guitars. A good Chibson will happen as often as a bad Gibson. That's just the facts, okay? Gibson wouldn't make money and be in business if they were churning out, if every Gibson that came out was bad. If they had a universal issue where every single Gibson was bad. Okay? It's a case of confirmation bias. Okay? You hear about every Gibson that breaks from people on Reddit or Facebook or whatever. Guys, look, my Gibson came and the headstock snapped off. Guys, look, my Gibson came and it has sharp fret ends. Guys, my Gibson came and the neck is twisted. The pickups don't work. The pots are busted. The wiring inside is broken. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, so they must all be bad, right? Wrong. People write reviews often when they're upset. People make posts because they're angry. Nobody's not gonna get a new Gibson and be like, hey everybody, I got this Gibson and it's exactly 100% adequate. It's exactly 100% what I expected it to be. No. People only make posts when things are exceptionally better than they expected or worse than they expected. Confirmation bias. You might think every Gibson is bad because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The people that are upset are screaming the loudest. The people who are content don't say anything. They don't. Would I hold up a good Gibson and just be like, hey guys, I just wanted to just make this video and let you guys know that this is adequate? No, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. No. So that's the first problem, is this idea that Gibsons are terrible, therefore Chibsons are allowed to be terrible, okay? The second one, and this is like the most pervasive argument for Chibson, and by the way, they come out and they try to just attack people like me. There aren't very many people like me who come out and tell you that Chibsons are bad and that you shouldn't buy one. There aren't many. Most people put on their rose-colored glasses and they say, oh, well, I put, you know, they're great after I put $300 in it. It's great now. No, it's not. Not compared to a real Gibson. Not compared to a guitar you could buy for the cost of the Chibson plus the parts. No. Categorically, no. Maybe you have like the 1 out of 100 that isn't that way, but 1 out of 100 is not representative of the average. It simply is not, okay? So, where I was going with that is people are saying, well, obviously it's going to be junk because it costs 1/10 of a Gibson. It's not fair to compare it to a Gibson. Yes, it is. You know why? Because they put Gibson on the headstock. They are ripping off, copying, and stealing a design, which maybe I'd be okay with this if you cut it off right there. But then you get here. The headstock shape and the headstock logo say Gibson. It is lying. Oh, but you know it's fake when you buy it. Okay, fine. It's legitimate and expected to compare this to the thing that it is copying, because it is claiming to be a Gibson Les Paul. So the only fair thing to do is compare it to a real Gibson and see if it's any good. Newsflash, it's not. That argument falls so flat that it's not even funny. So don't try that one. What else have we got? Okay, so I've been called a fanboy and an elitist because of all of this stuff, right? Here's the deal. If backing a brand or generally liking guitars from a brand, where 9 out of 10 times, if I pick up a guitar with that brand name on the headstock and it was made by that brand, it's good. If that makes me a fanboy, then I'm a fanboy. I don't like Gibson guitars because they say Gibson. I like Gibson guitars for the reasons that people who've never been able to afford own one, who've never played one, or who are in denial, and they just want to be an anti-hero of some sort for I don't know who. I don't know what they get out of this. I like that for the reason that it's good, not because of what it is. A Gibson is a Gibson because it has nice nitro paint. That's one thing. It uses better pieces of wood. That is an objective fact. It uses better wood than an illegal counterfeit Chinese guitar. The fingerboards are usually better. The fretwork is usually better. Okay, it has bound fret ends, which this Chibson did, surprisingly. The neck feels a lot nicer to me as well. It's not as flimsy. And generally, you're going to get a couple pieces on a Gibson, you know. If you're lucky, you get one, but generally you get a couple pieces. But with a Chibson, you get like 12. I bet if I sanded all of the paint off of this, we'd find like 8 pieces on this, okay? Oh, and then another major thing that nobody's talking about. There was a guy who he broke down a Chibson and tore it down, and he did some tests on the fret wire. And you know what he found? Lead. You know why? Because there's no QC over there. This is an illegal product. So it will never be inspected. It will never be checked for hazardous materials because it's not even legal for this to enter the country. Now, who broke the law, the buyer or the seller? Well, the seller definitely did. Did the buyer? I don't think so under American law. I don't know about other countries. But it's illegal for this to enter the United States from China in the first place. So why would they bother making sure that all of the components meet the environmental and safety standards of the United States? They don't. Where do you think they're getting this fret wire? Do you think this is like their best fret wire? No, the cheapest possible metal they can find. It has been proven that a lot of these Chibson guitars have lead. Lead. You can't argue with me. That is wrong. Objectively a major issue. Even if every other thing about this was perfect and there was no moral or ethical issue and it was a great guitar otherwise, that alone makes it to where I don't even feel comfortable holding and touching the frets on this guitar anymore, okay? Okay, and then the second part of that is the elitism thing. Where did you get that idea? So it's not elitist to say that a piece of shit is a piece of shit. That's not elitist. That's being honest with people. Oh, well, if you polish it and put new pickups and put new bridge and put a new tailpiece and put a new nut and put new tuners in, what the hell is wrong with you? You're $700 or $800 deep at that point. You could have bought almost 1.5 Gibson Les Paul Studios. And stock, for what they come with, would be 1,000,000 times better than this thing. So the second part is, what did I tell people to do? I told people to go get a cheaper guitar that was legitimate. Because a cheaper guitar that's legitimate is 1,000,000,000 times better than this. How is that elitist? Did I tell anyone to go buy a Gibson Les Paul Standard? Did I tell anyone to go buy a Gibson SG Standard? No. Do most people who hate on Chibsons say, you must go buy a Chibson? No. They're calling out the objective reality that these guitars are terrible. Okay? Alright, what else are we going to talk about here? Okay. Someone called out and said, if you feel so bad about it, why did you buy it? I didn't. They sent it to me. I did not buy it. So, and why do I still have it now? I haven't shipped it back yet. It's only been, what, 7 or 8 days since I filmed that video last week. So, I haven't shipped it yet because I wanted to make this video, and it's a nice prop to be able to show you. Nobody wants to watch a guy sit and talk with nothing in his hands to show you. I can show you this monstrosity one more time. And the last thing I want to touch on, there's really 2 more things. People were saying, oh, you're talking about ethics. Well, if you just look it up, you'll see that Gibson's not ethical. What? Again, that's just copium, man. Every company in America is going to have something that it's done that wasn't great. But it isn't 100% of their... What they do is unethical. The production of this guitar itself is unethical. The design and stealing this and making the CNC machines that make this and getting this awful whatever this is to put this logo on here and this Les Paul logo, all of that from start to finish, from concept to design to development to implementation to shipment to delivery is unethical. If Gibson treated their employees badly and underpaid them, that's unethical. But that doesn't mean that they are unethical. It doesn't mean that you are supporting their unethical behavior by purchasing their product any more than any other company that exists. There are no problems exclusive to Gibson. So, you know, unless you're an exclusive Chibson player, which if you are, boy, I don't want to talk to you because I don't want to hear what you think about things. I would welcome the debate, but I already know it wouldn't be a fair debate. So, the last thing I want to talk about, a friend of the channel on a public forum said, why did he, in the first video, talk about how it was not that bad of a deal and how he actually kind of liked it and was surprised at how well it sounded and suggested that maybe you go buy one, and then all of a sudden, a week later, he just flipped out and changed his mind, and now all of a sudden it's holier than thou and unethical and all this stuff. And at first I was mad, and then I realized it's a very fair question. Now, I did answer this in the last video, but I want to make it abundantly clear what happened, okay? On this channel, it happens to a lot of you too. You see or hear of a guitar, right? You expect it to be abysmally bad, like unbelievably, irredeemably bad, okay? I mean, it's a Chibson. It's going to be irredeemably bad. I'm a huge Gibson fan, so I expected that I'd pick this up and it'd feel like a toy and it'd be a piece of crap and be awful in every conceivable way, and that it wouldn't be playable, it wouldn't be intonatable, this neck truss rod would be broken, like a whole bunch of crap. And so when I got it, and it was actually a functional instrument that didn't have sharp fret ends, that had pickups that sounded decent, my expectation of the guitar was so low that when it came out and was a playable guitar that I could arguably play at a show, I wouldn't, because I don't think it's ethical to do that, but I could play it at a show. All of a sudden I was like, oh my god, my expectation was so bad, and it's so much better than my expectation that I'm kind of on cloud 9 right now. Like, this was supposed to be so bad, and it's not. It's actually pretty good. Wow. You know? I don't script my videos. I film them in as few shots as possible, especially this portion like this. This video is going to be one shot with no editing, for example. So that last video, when I do my reactions, I try not to cut, and I want to show you my genuine reaction. So I finished the video, I turned the camera off. And then that weekend I went to a guitar show, and I mentioned this. I played a bunch of nice guitars. Someone made fun of me and said that I went to the Guitar Snob Snooze Fest, and I came back and now all of a sudden cheap stuff isn't good enough for me. Wrong. There's a Dean MLX sitting right here. There's a Kramer Beretta Special sitting right here. There's a Westcreek Revenge sitting right here. And then over here off camera are 3 or 4 Squires and a PV Predator. So don't call me a guitar snob, because I love inexpensive guitars. And so after I went and played the real Gibsons and stuff and ended up buying one while I was there, I came back and it was back to reality. I was no longer comparing this guitar to what I thought it was going to be. I was comparing this guitar to good guitars, to what it claims to be. I spent the weekend playing real Les Pauls, and then I played this one, and it felt like garbage, because it is garbage compared to those. It's a fair comparison to make, because it claims to be one thing, and it doesn't feel, sound, anything like the real thing. And again, just look at how awful the logo is. Look at that N. That's awful. So, did I become holier than thou all of a sudden? It was suggested that I got a cease and desist letter from Gibson. I didn't. I'm too small. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care about me. It was nothing like that at all. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It has everything to do with the fact that instead of judging it against itself, I judged it against its peers, and it failed miserably. I leave you with this. If you don't believe me and you disagree with me, I encourage you to voice your concern in the comments. But I want to make a request. Please actually formulate an argument. Everybody nowadays, they resort to ad hominem. They make fun of me, or my playing, or how I look, or how my guitars look. Or they make fun of me, or they make a general statement that doesn't make sense, like, let them eat cake. You know? That doesn't do anything. If you have a legitimate reason to believe that it's ethical, moral, and okay to have one of these, I want to hear your actual argument. I don't want to hear one-liners. I mean, that isn't productive. That's what led to the making of this video, because it's not fair, not to me, but to the guitar market, for these guitars to exist and for that sentiment to be shared so strongly. I finish with this. If you go to that last video, which I will have in the end screen, if you don't, or right here somewhere, go to the video and look at the other comments. I only told you about the bad comments, but there were so many comments of people that said, I bought a Chibson, and I thought, this isn't too bad, and then I bought all these parts, and I installed them all, and it did not play like a $600, $700, $800 guitar. It did not play like the guitar with the money I put into it, and now I can't sell it, because it's fake. And even if I sold it to a person who knew it was fake, I don't know that they're not going to sell it to a person who knows that it's fake, and I will have caused more of a problem in the used guitar market, so now I'm stuck with it. Multiple stories like that. And one other thing, somebody said, I saw all these different YouTubers that are talking about Chibsons, okay? It's like a hot thing right now. And they buy them, they generate a bunch of content for their channel, some of them it becomes their entire identity. And they make all this content about it, and they go through this big long journey with all these multiple videos over the course of a month or two. Then at the end, they've got this, what they claim to be badass, amazing, better than any Chibson guitar. But really what it is two things. Number one, it's rose-colored glasses, and you can see them convincing themselves on camera that it's good. They know it doesn't feel like a Gibson Les Paul. They know it. And again, maybe you got the 1 in 1,000 that does, and I'm not going to argue. If that's happened to you, I'm happy for you. But don't suggest to everybody that they're all like that. Just be thankful you got the good one, right? So the second reason is greed. I was going to do what they did. Not to copy them, but because they did it for a reason. It's because they're guitar players, they're tinkerers, they want to make their own thing, and they're curious about it, and they want to see how good or bad can it be. I bought this, well, not bought this, it was sent to me, and I bought a bunch of parts. I bought them. And after coming to my realization about this guitar, I returned all of the parts, because I couldn't bring myself to pollute the guitar market and the general shared guitar knowledge with all of you about how to upgrade a Chibson and make it acceptable. I couldn't bring myself to do that because it wasn't ethical to do that, because it's not worth it. I'm going to tell you one more time. If you want to buy a Chibson Les Paul, do not do it. Don't do it. Buy an Epiphone Les Paul instead. Buy an ESP LTD. The ESP LTD EC10, which is like a $100 guitar, is better than this. It blows this away, and it's not even close. So, please, please, do not put more money in the machine. Don't do it. These guitars are flooding the market as we speak. That is why I'm sending this back. And if I cannot manage to find a way to send it back, it's going to have to stay with me forever. I'm going to put something on the back of the neck that says that it's fake. In fact, I'm going to scratch out the Made in USA and the serial and put like a permanent label back there that says that it's fake. I might even change the logo to Chibson so that if I die, nobody's going to get fooled. So if you see this in the background of the video, it's because the shop disappeared, which that happens a lot, by the way. They send these things out, they disappear, they get a new name. So yeah, there you go. Sorry for the rant. This was not how I expected to go this week with my content, but I have really been thinking a lot about this, and I need to defend the guitar market. I need to defend good guitars that don't deserve to be criticized, and I need to just condemn this unethical trend. Hopefully the trend dies soon. Again, if you disagree, let me know why, and please give me a good, detailed reason, and I'd love to have that discourse with you. Otherwise, maybe it's best that you withhold those unhelpful comments. So, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Please like and subscribe. Please join the Discord. The link is in the description below. We talk about guitar gear, etc. The conversation that I'm having with you right now, those kind of conversations happen over in that Discord all the time. And you can be as unhinged as you want over there. That's fine. We'll talk about it, and we'll be honest with each other, and maybe we'll come to an agreement, maybe we won't. But the good thing about debate is it doesn't mean you have to change your mind. You just present your best case. I presented mine. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Thanks again. See you next time, and keep on rocking.